Hello, everyone. I have 8 team members that are currently in the schools serving our 1,100 students, and they did not have time to meet in person. So I opted to record a presentation for my in-service to send to my team members. Many of them came and gave me feedback in person. So first, I'll tell you a little bit about my actual in-service. We keep data on all of the students we serve, and we have to report demographic data since we receive federal funding. And so I was actually able to track the percentage of ELL students that we've been serving. And over the last 5 years, for an average, we've served 26.2% ELL student population, which is more than the district's percentage of 15% ELL students and the state's 9% ELL student population. So I learned actually a lot about the students that we're serving in our own program. I didn't realize how many students were self-reporting that they were ELL. So there's a great chance that we serve even more. Many of the people on my team are first generation immigrants. We have a couple from Laos and Vietnam and Malaysia. We also have some Spanish speakers, and a couple of them actually grew up in the US public education system taking ELL classes. But since it's been 20, 30 years since they've been in the classroom as a student, I think they might forget some of the harder parts. They're able to focus on all their accomplishments, which they should. But I think it's really easy to just kind of forget that maybe some of the students that we're serving aren't bored and disengaged. Maybe they're at a beginning proficiency level. Maybe we're using really context specific language. And the students don't have very high CALP yet. So I was trying to reassure my teammates that even if a student has good basic interpersonal communication skills and they're able to hold conversation, when we start talking about the FAFSA and rigorous programs of study and qualified admissions, we can sound like we're speaking a completely different language. One of my colleagues that came to the United States at, I think, around 30 years of age, he was saying, he just kind of forgot how hard it is to have to take new information, process it in your first language, and then put it back in your second language to be able to produce a response. So just reminding the staff members that, yeah, the kids are understanding you, but they may not have the language skills to be able to respond. Because we're a federally funded program, I wanted to highlight some of the legal and educational rights of ELL students. We serve primarily first-generation low-income students. These students are very culturally and linguistically diverse, so they know about Civil Rights Act and the Educational Opportunity Act, but they might not have known about some of the more specific legislation and cases that led to making sure that all students have a quality education that is equal to their English-speaking peers. Throughout the presentation, I had a lot of links and QR codes to some extra resources, including the Department of Education's ELL student fact sheet, I think it's called. And I also linked that to several of my teammates' first language just to show that, hey, there are resources that in our students' first language that we can be utilizing in the classroom. So some of the other feedback I received is that I spent time talking about cognitive academic language proficiency, but I did not always consider that my staff members may not have the academic context-specific vocabulary to have this conversation. So I did provide an acronym cheat sheet at the beginning. And if I went over an acronym the first time, I did try to define it, but I did use CALP and BICS later in the presentation, and I didn't redefine them. And so a couple of staff members felt lost. Overall, there was some pretty positive feedback, and we had to submit our annual report for the program, and we really realized that we have the most Hispanic and ELL students in the program than we have had in years. And we're at an all-time high. And so some staff members felt that this was actually really well timed. And we, my director said it's probably cheaper to train the employees to be more ELL friendly than it is to change the program and the materials we have to be ELL friendly. So I'm hoping to do maybe some more workshops. We have a regional and state level association for our program, and my director suggested that I give a presentation similar to this one at our next state level conference. So I will be submitting a proposal for that. So not only did this in-service help my teammates learn a little bit more about the students we're serving, but it helped me learn more about how to present this information and how to better advocate for the students.